Wait, aren't I forgetting something? Oh, that's right. Sonic is turning 30 this year.
So yeah, for those who don't know, this month is going to be the month of Sonic's 30th anniversary. And it's hard to believe that Sonic is 30 because I grew up with Sonic Heroes in 2004, and I always thought that's where the franchise began, but to my surprise, no, it wasn't. You see, I never grew up with any Sega consoles. I never had a Genesis, I never had a Saturn. Now that I think about it, I don't think anyone had a Saturn. And I never had a Dreamcast, so I never grew up with the Genesis games or the adventure games.
Heck, I never even owned the GBA games as a kid.
And this is coming from someone who grew up with the Game Boy Advance a lot. So anyways, to celebrate Sonic's 30th anniversary, I thought it would be a good idea to do a top 10 list of my favorite Sonic games. However, there's going to be a few rules. Number 1, I'm not going to list any handheld games. And 2, Sonic 1, 2, and CD are not on this list, but I will mention them. So with that out of the way, here are my top 10 favorite Sonic games. Starting with... Okay, so this first entry might surprise you, but number 10 is... Sonic 06. Now, I already know what you're thinking. Connor, why Sonic 06? Why is this number 10? Well, I'll tell you. During my multiple replays of this game, I've actually grown to appreciate this game even more. I actually do like aspects about the story, and I actually do enjoy the gameplay. But it's this low on the list because of some issues with the game itself. Not just because of the bugs, but also because of the ballroom puzzle with Silver, that mission where you have to guess who the captain is, and the many loading screens. But despite all of those issues that I have, I still like 06, to be honest. While it's not perfect, I still think it's very decent, and who knows, maybe if it wasn't rushed, maybe it probably would have been on par with the adventure games, if not even better. Plus, do I even need to mention the amazing soundtrack? And while I would recommend this game, I know that it's not going to be for everyone. Just like the next entry. So, in another surprising entry, we have number 9. Sonic Forces. So, my thoughts and opinions on Sonic Forces have been a roller coaster. I went from loving it to hating it, and what do I think about it now? I think it's pretty decent. It has a pretty good soundtrack with a few not so good songs in my opinion. Visually, I think it looks pretty good. And in terms of gameplay, I really do like the modern stages and the custom avatar stages. And while the classic stages are the weakest element of the game in my opinion, they still can be fun at times. I even enjoy the story despite some issues with it. Originally this game was $40, nowadays it's $20, so I think it should be worth the price nowadays. I would recommend giving it a shot, and who knows, maybe you might enjoy the game. Or you won't. I'm not going to judge your opinion on it. Next up on number 8, we have... Sonic Colors for the Nintendo Wii. Now, Sonic Colors is a really good game. It's really good. Visually, it looks spectacular for the Nintendo Wii. The soundtrack is absolutely stellar. And the Wisps are even creative and are used greatly for exploration. That's not to say I like everything about Sonic Colors. Honestly, I thought the writing was a bit too juvenile. Most of the boss fights are pretty easy, and the game can feel really short. But this is still a good game, and I would even recommend picking up Sonic Colors Ultimate when that comes out in September. Or if you have a Wii U, you can get it on the Virtual Console. However you choose to play it,
as long as you're experiencing one of the best Sonic games out there.
Number 7 is Sonic and the Black Knight.
Now, I've seen a lot of people give this game crap. They say stuff like, oh, this game is too dark, or they complain about the motion controls not being good. And while I can say that second part about the game's predecessor, Sonic and the Secret Rings, Black Knight, in my opinion, uses motion controls to its advantage. I don't know, there's just something satisfying about cutting through enemies with a sword, while still maintaining Sonic's free-flowing speed. And while I do agree that the story can be a bit too dark, I don't think it makes the story bad. The story has a really good message about living life to the fullest, and I love how Sonic is still kind-hearted in this game, before Sonic Colors came along and ruined him. Plus, do I even need to mention the amazing soundtrack? Especially with Night of the Wind, which is the song you have been listening to for this segment.
Number 6 is Sonic Adventure.
Now, I love Sonic Adventure. I think it's not only a great Sonic game, but it was a great launch title for the Sega Dreamcast. This was Sonic's real transition into 3D. Ignore that 3D blast crap. This is the true first mainline 3D Sonic game. This game is especially iconic for not only having an amazing story, multiple playable characters, of course having an amazing soundtrack, but you already know that, but also introduced the homing attack and the lightspeed dash. I would place this game higher on the list, but reason why this game is not like number 3 is because I think certain aspects of this game haven't aged well. Specifically the cutscenes, not being able to unlock anything after you get all the emblems in the original Dreamcast version, not being able to skip the cutscenes, again in the original Dreamcast version, and of course, Big the Cat, but you already know. But despite my issues, I still love Sonic Adventure, and I would definitely recommend this game. But if you are going to play Adventure, I would recommend buying the game on Steam and getting the better SADX and Dreamcast conversion mod.
Number 5, Sonic Generations.
I mean, come on, of course Sonic Generations would be on this list. And why wouldn't it be? It's a great anniversary title for Sonic. And when I first got this game on the PS3 back in 2014, I absolutely fell in love with this game. The idea of Sonic teaming up with his past self and running through time, and going through past levels from the days of the Sega Genesis to as recent as Sonic Colors, all while listening to some incredible remixes of past Sonic music. But if you want me to talk about issues with the game that I have, the story itself does feel kind of rushed. Like Sonic and Tails reflect on Green Hill Zone and Chemical Plant, but not in the rest of the stages. And while the 3DS version does have representation of the handheld games, the console versions sadly don't. My last complaint is that the stages can be really short. But none of these issues are enough to say that the game is bad, because it really isn't. In fact, I would actually recommend this game for newcomers. Even if they don't get the references, who knows, maybe it might inspire them to revisit the older games. I would definitely call Sonic Generations one of the best 3D Sonic games in years. Heck, if your PC is good enough, I would recommend getting the PC version, because the mod support for the game is really incredible.
Number 4 is Sonic Heroes.
Now, I absolutely love Sonic Heroes. This was the first Sonic game that I ever played, and boy was it a start. I have lots of fond memories of this game, running through Seaside Hill, playing the multiplayer with my older brother, and I love that you get to control 12 different characters with their own movesets. Nostalgia aside, though, it does get tiring replaying the same stages with the other teams. And don't even get me started on how horrible the special stages are. I would say that they're as bad as the special stages from Sonic 2, if not worse. But all in all, I still really enjoy Sonic Heroes. Not just because of nostalgia, but I think this game is just really good. Not everyone may like this game, but I still do. And I kind of hope that this game does get an HD port in the same vein as Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. This game would look incredible in HD and in widescreen. If you have an original Xbox, a 360, a PS2, a GameCube, or PC, I would totally recommend tracking down a copy, because this game is absolutely stellar.
Number 3 is Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles.
Now this game, in my opinion, is the best 2D Sonic game ever made. I love how it looks visually. I love that a second player can control Tails and help you reach higher areas. I love the inclusion of Knuckles. Plus, not only can you go super, but you can also go hypersonic. Don't get me wrong, the other classic games are pretty good too, but 3 and Knuckles is still the best. This game is so good that I actually have a hard time thinking of negatives about this game. I mean, I could talk about the Barrel and Carnival Night, but let's face it, that talking point is getting old. I would definitely recommend picking this up on Steam. Or if you're patient, you could wait for the Sonic Origins collection to come out and get the game that way. Just as long as you're playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Just as long as you're not playing the game separately, because that wasn't the original intent. Anyways, on to number 2. Sonic Unleashed.
Now, if you guys saw my Let's Play, you know how much I love this game. Visually, it looks so gorgeous. The orchestral music sounds absolutely incredible. The voice acting's pretty good. The gameplay is absolutely fun, even with the Werehog. I can absolutely gush about this game on and on. Although, like a lot of things, this game isn't perfect. I think collecting the Sun and Moon medals in concept sounds okay to progress, but what really hurts it is the amount you need. If this game ever gets a remaster, I would lower it to 70 Sun and Moon medals each, or 60. And while I do enjoy the Werehog stages, I do admit that the stages can drag on for about half an hour. But to me, these problems are bad enough to make me hate Unleashed. In fact, I would say that Unleashed is one of the best 3D Sonic games out there. I know not everyone is going to like this game, but Sega clearly does still see that fans love it. So much so that this game became backwards compatible on the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X. Although I wouldn't recommend it to newcomers because it is fairly challenging. So I would recommend playing Colors or Generations first, and then this game. Whether it would be on the PS3, Xbox 360, Xbox One, or the Xbox Series X, as long as you're playing one of the most phenomenal Sonic games out there. But you may notice earlier I said it was one of the best 3D Sonic games, and not the best. And I'll get into that.
But before I do that, let me go into some honorable mentions. Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic CD, and Sonic Mania. And while all of these are incredible, my number 1 favorite has to go to Sonic Adventure 2.
I mean, come on. Of course Adventure 2 was going to be number 1. Ever since I first played this game in 2014, I absolutely loved Adventure 2. I love the sheer epic and emotional story. I love how you could see both sides of the story, from both the villain and hero perspective. I love the introduction to Shadow and Rouge. I love the soundtrack and the song Live and Learn by Crush 40. And I especially love that you get to play as Dr. Eggman in this game. Ever since I was little, I've always wanted to play as Dr. Eggman. But sadly, I never grew up with this game. But if I have grown up with this game, I would still love it as much as I do now. Not to mention, this game has the best multiplayer in the entire franchise. Well, at least in a mainline Sonic game. If Sega ever does bring back the Sonic Adventure style and make a Sonic Adventure 3, I would absolutely be happy with that, because I love the Adventure style and Adventure 2. So yeah, that's my top 10 favorite Sonic games. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments down below your top 10 favorites. and whether you agree or disagree with my list. Till then, see you all later, and happy 30th anniversary, Sonic. Keep on running.